is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
No.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. All right, we're talking about something I think we all have a lot to say, including you. So right into the chat, because we're starting today with a topic, well, at least I know Jeff is very into, and so many of you are. It's the fight against junk fees that catch so many of us off guard when we see a final bill. So let's just be honest. How much is this really costing Americans? Turns out a lot. If you add it all up, we spend nearly $65 billion a year on these hidden junk fees. Well, today, the president is meeting with business leaders from companies like Live Nation, Airbnb, SeatGeek, and more. He is expected to announce that these companies have agreed to come clean with consumers and will now post the full cost of everything up front, so you know what you're paying for. Now, some of the most hated junk fees include the fees charged for events like tickets to concerts, but there are a lot more. So a recent survey listed bank overdraft fees, resort fees, definitely mortgage fees, and of course, credit card late payment fees. So what do we think about this new push for transparency? Is this just window dressing, or are you happy to know the fees up front? Does this do anything for you? Does this turn you on?
This is very a government way of solving this problem. Yes. Biden came out a couple months ago and was like, I'm taking care of these fees. This isn't taking care of it.
Correct.
It's showing us what we're paying for. And when I hit pay now, it shows me what I'm paying for, right? I went to a concert recently, literally, me and my wife, and I paid enough in fees I could have bought a whole nother ticket. Yeah. That's everywhere I go. That's getting out of control. I know some people might think this is not a big deal, but $65 billion is a huge deal, right?
And you're talking about Ticketmaster, which is also a monopoly, so what else are you going to do?
Ticketmaster, Live Nation, all those. Yeah. Resort fees when you go to stay at a hotel, that's got to go. Those extra fees when you're getting a ticket, those got to go. When you're doing a late payment or something, or you didn't pay your bills, that's a totally different thing. I don't think that you could put that in here. But it is a huge problem, and they need to fix it. Instead of just saying, well, here's what you're paying. I don't care. I don't need to see what I'm paying. I know what I'm paying when I see my credit card bill. I need them to fix what the problem is. Because what is a processing fee? Who gets that? Who gets that money? That's not a real thing.
That's right.
It's the mafia.
You just keep saying
you're hiding his processing fee.
So everybody knows what you're talking about when you say processing fee, but I don't know what you're talking about.
No, nobody does.
That's the thing. You just keep saying it's a processing fee, and we not.
It's called a Malibu beach house.
It is, and Uber, just so you guys know, had a safe rider fee. It was $1 per ride surcharge in 2014. But it meant nothing. It didn't make you safer. It just went to their pockets. Literally, it did nothing.
See, that's where I'm obviously, junk fees have gotten completely out of control, but shouldn't there be some stipulation that if you are giving these fees towards a certain thing, that money has to be applied towards it? Like, shouldn't that be a part of the stipulation? Like, for instance, when you bring up resort fees at hotels, if you traveled during COVID, none of those amenities were available to you, but you were still paying those resort fees, although you weren't using a resort. You were just kind of in a room that you hope was mildly safe.
Yeah, right.
So I think that would help a little bit as well. Like, it just seems to me like the transparency is important, because this is a budget issue for a lot of people. You know, like, if you're going to go to a concert, maybe you're going to get the tier down if you know in advance that this is going to be how much it's going to cost all in. But in terms of the transparency and the accountability for where the money's going, that needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah, some regulation.
And also collusion with some of these places, because when you're talking about resort fees, like in Vegas, you check into whatever hotel, and you see a resort fee and you say, well, I'm not going to pay that. Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go somewhere else in Vegas and they're going to have a resort fee. It's what happens when everybody is trying to make money and they're not competing against each other. They all have a little secret dinner and they're like, hey, I'm not going to name any casinos, but whatever, the triangular shaped one and the other one. And we're all going to sit down. And
don't name names.
Yeah. Rhymes with Muxer.
Yeah. And they're all, so what are you going to do? Either you're going to go stay at the Super 8 or you're going to pay the fee. And it's just, it's out of control.
That's why I really want there's a consumer board that Elizabeth Warren started, and I really want that to have some regulations in to punish you if that doesn't go to where it's
Those are all immediately dismantled whenever certain administrations get into office, and then we're having these conversations.
But one administration is trying to fix it, so let's talk about that. On a related note, we've all heard of inflation, but have you heard of tipflation? It's a term described more and more businesses are now they're turning to tips from customers to help cover the labor costs. So how many of you, raise your hands at home, are sick and tired of seeing this tip screen at more and more businesses? Does it ever make you feel totally awkward with the employee standing over you, waiting for you to decide how much to tip? Well, if you're sick of all the tipping, you're not alone. A recent survey found 2/3 of Americans now have a negative view of tipping, and tipping is down this year over last. Now, some businesses are deciding to do away with tipping altogether, including an ice cream shop in Seattle. Here's what the owner of that shop explained to CBS News about the decision. Take a look.
Black employees at Molly Moon's were making a lot less than white employees.
You could tell that?
Absolutely. And so it became clear to us how unfair our total compensation system was. I have to say I'm highly annoyed at tipping now. It's really awkward, especially in the counter service interaction. To watch someone make a decision, it never feels good.
It is an odd thing. So is tipflation getting out of control? And is it changing how you tip folks and also your mood about just going to these places?
I was talking about this pre-COVID. I know exactly where I was. I was at a coffee shop when the first time somebody flipped the screen around on me. First of all, I was shocked at the price, but I understood the psychology behind what they were doing. When you turn that, there used to be the black book at the restaurant, and it was closed, and you put your money in there, and then when you walked out of the restaurant as a former waiter, we've all been on staff, you go and get the book, and then it's almost like a little Christmas gift. Oh, they left 50%.
Yeah, right.
They left zero, a lump of coal, whatever. But now they don't leave the book open and stand there and watch you write. There's a reason that is designed to swivel. There's no other situation in which you're asked to work the cash register except when there needs to be a tip put involved. And now at Starbucks, they go, it's going to ask you a few questions. Oh, is it? Should Pluto still be a planet? Is that the question? Or are we going to be talking about how much money I'm going to be tipping you? It's so frustrating and it's out of control. Pay your employees. That's not our job.
Pluto should be a planet.
No, it's not. It's not.
It should be
it's
anyway.
Past the asteroid belt. It should
I
not
know
be.
the belt thing. Jeff, what do you have to say about
planet.
this? Okay, whatever, at Pluto. What do you have to feel about this when it turns to you? You recently had something happen to you, didn't you?
I've been talking about this for years.
Yeah.
You really
I
have.
can't stand it.
You
Yeah,
really
I
have.
can't
You're the
stand
only person I ever know that reads their cell phone bill. You're the only person I ever met that did that.
That was when I was in LA and I had no money.
Yes,
I've
but
told
that's
that
how you
story
should
about the
approach
10
it,
cent
yeah.
other. There was a 10 cent other on my cell phone bill, and I was complaining about my bill, and I was like, who gets that 10 cents? And they're like, sir, I don't know. Like, it wasn't a big deal. I'm like, sir, you don't know? Well, how many customers do you have worldwide? And they're like, millions. And I go, it wasn't adding up in their head. And I was like, so who gets that 10%? Who gets that 10 cents? Out of millions of customers worldwide, you put 10 cents on everybody's bill? Who's getting that? And they're like, I have no idea. Do you want to pay your bill or not? They just wanted to go home. But I'm like, seriously, they sneak in these fees. It's that half-a-cent scam that they do with stocks. Someone's making millions of dollars, right?
Totally true.
But as far as the tipping thing, it's out of control. They put you on the spot. It's very uncomfortable. I'm a great tipper. I really do. As much as I complain about money, I tip very well because that's where I came from. I did
Very
all the
generous
service
about that.
industries. Yeah, I got 10 seconds. Speaking of tips, 10. I'm out. Yeah.
You're gone.
Yeah, I'm out. Anyway, I could complain all day about
It's
this
out of
stuff.
control. It's not fair.
Yeah.
And I feel pressure, but I do hit 20% just because I feel like I should.
But when they're
That's
not
the
doing
whole
anything.
point.
Sometimes they don't do anything.
That's
They
the
just-
whole point.
Right, they do nothing.
That 20%
Yeah, I went to
came
go-
from your waiter
Right.
But
that
we
was
gotta go,
checking on
yeah.
your meal. Now it's just somebody that poured some coffee.
That's right. That's right. And go Pluto. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the stars of Wes Anderson's newest film. It's Scarlett Johansson and Jason Schwartzman. And Kevin Costner's divorce gets a little messy with his estranged wife. She's refusing to move out. What happened to that prenup? Is it Dancing with the Wolves? DBL. This show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point.
But I'm gonna have a conversation about what's happening now.
Dancing with Wolves. You know who directed that?
Did you say?
It was Kevin Costner. One of his first films ever. And
Wait, why do you think Pluto should still be a planet?
Tatanka. I understand the gaseous rock formation. I understand it's
Do you
small.
understand how big the planets outside the asteroid belt are? We're talking about Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus. Those are gas giants. They are like 200 or 300, like 1,000 times the size of the Earth. And then Pluto is this dense rock. It's not one of those.
So you're saying
if
size
If Pluto
matters.
was inside the asteroid belt, it would be fine.
Why was it
Mars
called-
is a little tiny planet. We're a tiny
Venus
planet.
is a tiny little planet
Yeah,
too.
anything outside, those are gigantic. Saturn is gigantic.
So why was Pluto included before?
Because it was one we could see, and we were all inclusive.
We were all inclusive, and now we're exclusive.
Yes.
About the planets.
You must be this tall to ride this ride, baby.
That's what happened. There is a famous placemat that was sold at Target, and it had all the planets, and in the corner was Pluto. And guess what was coming out of Pluto's eye? A little teardrop, because
That's
it was
funny.
sad. It wasn't a planet
That's
anymore.
kind of
What's it called now, though?
It's
Is it like a planetoid or something?
I think
Clyde
It's another name.
Tombaugh
Is
created
it
Pluto,
considered
or found
just
Pluto.
maybe a dead star, or is it a moon that maybe
Definitely not.
orbits?
It's not a dead star, because it's not a
That's
star.
like a black hole.
Yeah, I do want to say something. Clyde Tombaugh discovered Pluto, and when he died, his family pushed his ashes into the universe, much like Gene Roddenberry, the creator of Star Trek. So he is floating around his discovered rock.
Interesting. So do you admit that Pluto shouldn't be a planet?
We got to get Tori on Jeopardy.
Huh, DBL name.
Welcome to DBL. Kevin Costner's divorce is getting nasty. Now, according to court papers, the actor is begging a judge to force his estranged wife to move out of their home. So the couple's prenup states she agreed to move out within 30 days if they ever divorce, but she hasn't. Now, the 10-acre California mansion is worth $145 million. And Kevin says he's given her just under $1.5 million to relocate. This is Kevin's second divorce. His first one resulted in one of the most expensive celebrity divorces of all time. Get this, she was awarded $80 million. Erica, why might she not be leaving? And this is important to hear.
Yeah, her attorney's probably advising her against vacating the family home.
That's right.
Because the person who vacates the family home generally doesn't get favored in court.
That's right.
So although it said that it was supposed to be 30 days, I think, I don't know the legalese behind it, but
Right.
I would assume that there would be some type of like wiggle room in terms of standing your ground.
But
in
she
the home.
signed it. It's a contract, right?
And then he's going to court asking the judge to execute and enforce that.
I'm sure after $80 million, that was a pretty ironclad prenup.
Well, I think also there's something to be considered for the fact that they have young kids. I mean, they're not young, but they're still minors.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the family home, and it would be assumed that she was the primary custodian
Caregiver.
of the children. So I think that kind of leaves things up in the air as well.
What do you think, Jeff?
Why would you get married after you just gave up $80 million? I don't care how much I love you. I'm like, listen, I love you to death.
I feel that, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, Erica, you have to understand. I'm not getting married. Come live in my $125 million home. You don't have to worry about a thing. I'm not walking down that aisle getting that stupid ring and dancing on a light up floor. It's for children. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
see, like,
This is how he
I'm assuming his wife at this point was a woman like me, like, oh, that's amazing. That's not happening. So I guess we're just not together
And I'd be
anymore.
like, I'm Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Bye.
Like, yeah, but I already said bye, so and now we're just being redundant.
Now it's just like who's
Now you can
gonna
move.
buy first?
Now you can move back into your apartment in LA. Have fun with that.
I mean, honestly, I think that it was half. It's half of what you guys are saying. One, I want to get married. She was like, I'm not going to stay here if I'm not married. But he was like, well, if I get married again, I'm going to have an ironclad
Right.
prenup,
Which
And
doesn't work.
Yeah, apparently.
Because it's so interesting that now she's like, well, the kids, and I don't know. I thought the prenup was to take care of all the I don't know.
It should have. It should have.
So
a good prenup does, and you're right. It's ironclad. So if it's in the contract that she leaves, she will be enforced to leave the premises. However, she'll fight it as an asset in which she feels she's capable of keeping, and this will go on.
You're using
and this will
the
go
word
on.
feel.
And this is exactly.
Contracts don't feel.
But divorces, there's money in the feels. And I also remember when he was Robin Hood, and everyone had an English accent but him. They're like, Robin Hood, and he's like, yeah. That was always so weird to me.
You just wanted to bring that up, and I like that.
Yeah, he was like, where's my bow? I was like, all right. Coming up on DBL, we talk with the Scarlett Johansson and Jason Schwartzman all about their movie, Asteroid City. That's coming up, directed by Wes Anderson.
Buying products online can be a big win or a major disappointment when it comes to shipping, quality, and price. But what about your privacy? Many Verify viewers have reached out with concerns about Temu, an online discount marketplace, including whether the company is selling your personal data. Using these sources, here's what we can verify about Temu. Yes, Temu.com is a legitimate company. The direct-to-consumer business allows people to buy directly from manufacturers in China, while Temu handles the shipping and logistics. But that doesn't mean everyone's had a great experience with Temu. According to the Better Business Bureau, Temu has a C+ rating. And in 2022, the company had more than 400 complaints filed against them. Many of them are about poor quality of products, shipping, or the delays people experience in getting refunds for items they didn't get or items they returned. And now for the answers you've all been waiting for. Yes, Temu does collect your data. But before you freak out, Temu has the same policies as other e-commerce sites like Amazon, Shein, and Wish. The company collects your contact, payment, and demographic info, personal government-issued identification numbers, if you give it to them, as well as any user-generated content on your phone, like photos, videos, and audio recordings. Temu says it doesn't sell users' personal information, but it does share your information with a number of entities, like payment processors, advertising partners, and third parties that may be involved in promotions and marketing. Temu also provides user data directly to the seller of the product being purchased. Next, yes, Temu is owned by a Chinese company, but Temu's website doesn't say anything about Chinese authorities having access to a user's private information. PDD Holdings, which owns Temu, also owns Pinduoduo, another online shopping app that is primarily used in China. In March, Google warned Android users against downloading that app and suspended it from the Play Store after malicious software was detected. With your Verify, I'm Ariande Till.
We're not there. The car exploded. Come get the girls. I have to stay here with Woodrow.
I'm not the chauffeur. I'm the grandfather. Where are you?
Asteroid City, Farm Route 6, mile 75.
Welcome back. That's some of the movie magic you'll see in Asteroid City. Earlier, we caught up with two of the film stars, Jason Schwartzman and Scarlett Johansson. Take a look.
Hi, Scarlett. Hi, Jason. Al and I already just saw Asteroid City and loved it. Al, what was your take on it? Because you loved it.
I did. I mean, you know, walking out of the theater, I just had this really kind of visceral reaction to it, and then I felt like it was about honesty, and it started, and it really went through the entire movie, but having direct, honest conversations. I think a lot of people get through life with pleasantries, but having direct conversations about your relationship and what it really is and where it's really going is something I think would benefit a lot of people. Plus, obviously, cinematography, the cast, everything. But just, I cannot tell you guys how much I appreciate and like this movie.
Oh,
that's
thank
so
you.
Fun. I love that's a great feeling about it.
Thank you. But I want to ask you guys, like, tell our audience what makes Asteroid City different from all the movies we've seen you in thus far.
I don't know. I think this film, I mean, there's something unique about the setup of this film, which is that it's the premise is a television show about the making of a play.
Holy Toledo, that's Mitch Campbell. You were very good in the one about the tramp in the brothel who gets amnesia and becomes a pediatrician. You were very awesome. Actually, maybe my favorite character I've ever. I don't know why nobody else liked it.
And we all play actors that are also playing characters in the play. And so that in itself is kind of an unusual setup, just because we all are playing at least two-ish people. And I think this film is really I think it represents where Wes is at in his midlife, in his mid-career. It's got, there's a lot of these kind of existential, anxiety that I think that we all are feeling, and it feels very much a part of the zeitgeist, I think, in that. So it's definitely, not like, it's very unusual. I think it's a kind of singular movie.
It is. It's like stands alone. Jason, some people grab onto the physicality of a character, some the words. What did you grab onto with your character that got you in that character?
With this character, well, the physicality was a big thing. Wes had this kind of abstract desire in the beginning to do something that said, I want to do something with the character that's like a thing, like a way, you know, bring in some other aspect of it that we hadn't ever tried to do before. And so we were talking about prosthetics and various things. And ultimately we landed on this idea of trying to have a very still face, which is not easy for me to do. So we had these these jaw things made that would clamp my jaws closed.
Oh.
My top, yeah, so I talk like this. And that once that was figured out, that really was the most helpful thing to the character. If I move my face too much, I don't feel like I'm able to be this gentleman.
I do a nude scene. You want to see it?
Huh? Did I say yes?
You didn't say anything.
I meant yes. My mouth didn't speak.
That's so interesting. I love that.
Yeah.
Scarlett and Jason, thank you so much for joining us. DBL Nation Asteroid City is in theaters June 23rd.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Former President Trump and his supporters are claiming the recent federal indictment over mishandling classified documents is a politically motivated witch hunt. They say several other politicians have also gotten in trouble for how they handled sensitive material, including Joe Biden, former Vice President Mike Pence, and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Yet Trump is the only one who's been charged with crimes. But is that the only reason his case is different from the other three? Let's verify. Our sources, the full text of the indictment of Trump, then FBI Director James Comey's statement on the Clinton investigation, statements by Biden's attorney, a letter by Pence's attorney, and the Department of Justice. We'll go through each case one by one. When he left the White House, Donald Trump took boxes of documents to his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. The DOJ investigation showed that hundreds of the documents were classified, some dealing with military operations and nuclear weapons. They were stored in bathrooms, on stages, and in storage closets at the club, according to the indictment. Joe Biden had documents from his time as vice president at his home in Delaware and a private office in D.C. According to CBS News, about 20 of those documents were classified. They were stored in a locked closet in his D.C. office and his garage and home library in Delaware. Mike Pence had several documents in his home in Indiana. We don't know exactly how many, what they covered, or where specifically in the home they were stored. And Hillary Clinton was investigated not for physically storing documents from her time in office as Secretary of State, but for transmitting classified information over a private email server instead of via secure government channels. The FBI found that more than 100 emails contained classified info out of the roughly 30,000 they examined. The Bureau did not release details about the classified emails they found. So all four had classified material where they shouldn't have. All four were investigated by the Justice Department. So what makes Trump's case different? Primarily, it's what he did after the documents were discovered. When Biden's lawyers found classified documents in his office and home, they immediately notified the DOJ and the National Archives, and the material was handed over the next day. Pence instigated the search of his own home in Indiana and immediately turned over the documents found there. And Clinton cooperated with the FBI's investigation, turning over roughly 30,000 emails. The FBI did note that her team didn't turn over thousands more they considered to be personal and not work-related, but also noted there was no evidence Clinton's team intentionally hid anything important from investigators. But according to the indictment against Trump, the former president not only didn't cooperate or promptly return documents, he actively obstructed the investigation. Of the 37 counts he's facing, 6 involve misleading, lying to, hiding evidence from, and conspiring to thwart investigators. The others are for keeping the documents in the first place. The Pence and Clinton cases were both closed with no charges recommended. A DOJ special counsel has been assigned to the Biden investigation, which is still ongoing. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
Who's in the mood to go shopping? Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check it out. Steph, what do you have for us today?
Hi Tori, hey DBL Nation. We are so excited to show you the deals today. As ever, they are pretty fabulous. Get ready to shop. I'm in love with this first product. We've got the Life Authentics wireless electric foot filer.
Ooh.
So this deal includes 1 foot filer with 3 heads, and this waterproof device will help everything from cracked calluses to hurting heels. So normally this is $30.
Not bad.
We've got it for just $12.99. So that's saving 57%. Now, what about this, Tori? We have got the biggest collection of Champion sunglasses here.
Whoa.
Look at this. This is a Dorbuster deal. So you will get 1 pair of sunglasses, but we've got them available in 5 styles and in various colors. Normally they're $25.
Okay.
We've got them for $10. So that's saving up to 60%.
I love when I can just say $10, boom, 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 done for the summer.
Check out this. We've got the Visine New You Professional EMS Microcurrent Anti-Aging Facial Device.
Whoa.
So this deal includes 1 device that will provide a spa-like experience from the comfort of your own home. This is a safe and non-invasive device that will help smooth wrinkles and fine lines. It also helps promote collagen production in your skin and will boost the skin's firmness.
Nice.
Normally this is $500.
No.
We've got it for $49.99.
Yes.
That's saving up to 90%. What about this, Tori? This has got your name all over it. It's the 6-pack Solar Tiki Pathway Lights. So this deal includes 6 Tiki Pathway lights that are perfect for your front or backyard. The flickering lights provide a real flame look, and the best bit is that these are waterproof lights, they're solar paneled, and they can run for up to 8 hours.
Oh my God.
So normally they're $120. I know, but we've got them for just $29.99. So that's saving everyone up to 75%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even just scan the QR code on screen. It's so easy. It will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. All right, before we go, listen up. Check this out. This is a live look at the parade and rally right here in Denver to celebrate the Denver Nuggets becoming NBA champions for the very first time. Now, this is happening right down the street from our studio. Go Nuggets. There are thousands of people going to be joining.
Look at that background.
Right, to celebrate the Joker,
Yes.
Jordan. Yeah. The other players.
Okay.
Trying to name the others.
Erica, how does this make you feel? You worked for the Nuggets for a number of years.
I'm super proud, but I have to give a shout out to our former stage manager, David, because he works for the organization now. And he's got 2 wins since he's left us, and we're so sad, but we are so happy for him.
Good luck for ball arena.
Yes. Brian, you're the best. We'll see you tomorrow, guys.